Party time, Mom. Welcome to Monday. We are going to get into some crazy stuff that happened over the weekend. But first, I want to launch right into something that just absolutely pisses me off. And I want you to be pissed off with me because it's no fun being mad alone and just sitting here stewing in it. I want you to just feel what and I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me in trouble. But I'm here for it, okay? I am here for it. Now, just this past weekend, for a graduation ceremony, President Joe Biden, he went to Howard University, which is a historically black college university, all right? HBCU. You've seen the clip. You heard what he had to say. The man is dumber than a bag of hair. Just absolutely not there, 100%. And I want you to watch this clip. Now, I want you to watch it because I got some things I want to say about it. I want to say what you've been thinking, and you're just maybe afraid to say it out loud, but I'm going to say it today. But first, I want you to pay attention. Look at the anger in this guy's eyes when he's talking. I want to remind you that the person who is uttering these words eulogized Robert Byrd, who was a grand poobah whatever for the KKK, and then became a senator, and he said he's one of the greatest men he ever knew. This is a guy who said he didn't want his kids going to school in a racial jungle. This is a guy who said that Barack Obama was like a clean, whatever, smart, good-looking black guy, which you don't have many of those. This is the guy who said, who his now Vice President Kamala Harris in the first Democrat primary debates called him a racist. This is that guy who says these words at this historically black college. Play the clip.
It's a battle that's never really over. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for the best in us. To choose love over hate, unity over disunity, progress over retreat. To stand up against the poison of white supremacy, as I did in my inaugural address, to single out as the most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. And I'm not saying this because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it wherever I go. To stand up for truth over lies, lies told for power and profit. To confront the ongoing assault to subvert our elections. Press our right to vote.
That's exactly why you were saying it, Joe. You said white supremacy is the biggest terrorist threat to our homeland. White supremacy. You knew exactly who your audience was. You knew exactly what you were saying. You know exactly where, why, and when you were saying it, okay? You were saying it to a black audience, and you got your little cheap applause about saying white supremacy is the biggest threat, the terrorist threat to the homeland. Okay. I've got an issue with that because here's the deal. When you say white supremacy, you're just saying white people in general. That's what you're saying. You're saying anybody that is MAGA Republican, anybody that is right of center is automatically a white supremacist. Automatically a white supremacist. We just had a shooting in Allen, Texas 2 weeks ago where a Hispanic guy shot the place up, and he was a white supremacist. So anybody that's not black basically is a white supremacist that has any differing opinion from the progressive left. Now, the biggest enemies in America, and specifically to the black community, folks, are not white supremacists. They're not. Now, to my knowledge, I have never met a white supremacist. Therefore, I've never had a conversation with a white supremacist that I know of. And growing up in the deep south of Georgia in the 1970s and 80s, one would think that I should have crossed paths with at least one white supremacist. I jumped on a Twitter space the other day, which I think was about 99% black people in there. Somebody said, you got to get on this Twitter space. And in there, they were actually having conversations. Every person that spoke was talking about things like, we got to bury these white possums and how white people need to die. Here's the deal, my friends. The biggest enemy to America, and specifically to the black community, is Democrats. and more specifically, Democratic policies. Now, it amazes me that the black community in particular continues to vote in, policies that have consistently and historically kept them in physically, morally, circumstantially, spiritually, economically, psychologically, and emotionally impoverished circumstances. I mean, Einstein was right in saying that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But yet here we are. Now, I know that the current social trend is for me, a white man, to shut the hell up because it's none of my business. I can't speak on this. But the President of the United States has now made it my business. And he has provoked me to a point where I need to show you what his speech should have been when he spoke at a historically black college. This is how he should have spoken to them. But see, Joe doesn't have the balls to tell them the truth. But I do. I got the balls. I got a big old giant sack of them. The biggest enemy, the second biggest, because Democrats are the biggest enemy to the black community. The second biggest enemy to the black community, which is a direct result of Democrat policies, is guess what? Fatherlessness. Not white supremacy. It's fatherlessness in the home. You say, you can't say it. Oh, I can say it because it's a fact. And I want you to think about this. Compared with white women, black women are 25% less likely to have ever been married and about half as likely to currently be married. In 1998, about 29% of African-American women aged 15 and over were married with a spouse present compared to 55% of white women and 50% of Hispanic women. Now, until the 1960s, the percentages of black and white women currently married with a spouse that was present in the home were virtually the same. It was about 66%. And until 1960, about 95% of children in the U.S. were born to married parents. By 2008, that number had fallen to 59%. 36.5% of single-parent female-headed households are in poverty, and only 6.4% of married two-parent families are poor. So when President Johnson's war on poverty began in 1963, only 7% of the children in the U.S. were born out of wedlock. But by 2008, that number was 40.6%. 72.3% of black births are out of wedlock. Did you hear me? Almost 3/4 of black births are out of wedlock. So until the 1960s, the black family was mostly intact. Two-parent household. And furthermore, the incarceration rate of black men was about the same as the white men until the 1960s. Now, however, these days, 37% of all male prisoners in the U.S. are black. And listen, when you think about the fact that blacks comprise about 13% of our population, that's astounding. Furthermore, from 1930 to 1940, the height of the Great Depression, everybody was broke. And we had legalized discrimination against black people in America, and the Jim Crow South was in effect. There was only between 22% and 26% of all prisoners in federal and state prisons were black. By 1964, 33% were black. By 1986, the number was 44%. Now, sociologists will wrongly tell you that poverty leads to crime during the Great Depression. And I know there's people going to argue back and say, they're in poverty, they're poor, they have to commit crime, they're forced into it just to survive. Oh, no. During the Great Depression, the unemployment rate in black America was 45%. That's right. If there was ever a time for crime to go completely out of control for the black community, it was then. But it didn't happen. You know why? Because the two-parent family was intact and because those families held church and faith as a high priority. See, there's something interesting about having the fear of God instilled in you. You don't go out and kill each other, and you generally don't commit crime. So what happened? Why is fatherlessness in the black community so rampant? Well, there's this thing called Aid to Families with Dependent Children, AFDC. It was signed into law by Franklin Roosevelt in 1935. By the way, he's a Democrat. As part of the Social Security Act. Now, the SSA, the Social Security Act, was passed by a majority Democrat Senate and House. The AFDC, it's a grant program to enable states to provide cash welfare payments for needy children who have been deprived of parental support or care because their father or mother was absent from the home. They were incapacitated, deceased, unemployed. They just weren't there. And then in 1963, when Lyndon Johnson started his war on poverty, the majority of blacks in America voted for who? They voted for Republicans. You know why? Because Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. And by 1966, just 3 years later, LBJ was preoccupied with the Vietnam War and the war on poverty. It started losing steam. So what happened was a married couple by the name of, and there were also Marxists and professors at the School of Social Work at Columbia University in New York, Richard Cloward, Francis Fox Piven. They developed a strategy to address this whole situation. They were concerned that administration of welfare payments by the states were too slow and not nearly as comprehensive as they should have been. And so what they were after was this federally funded and controlled welfare system, which would move the U.S. towards socialism. Now, keep in mind, this whole socialism experiment, even Vladimir Lenin said it's a logical step in leading to communism. And the Cloward-Piven strategy, what they wanted to do is flood the rolls of state welfare systems and cause the systems to crash. Now, at that point, states would be crying for the federal government to bail them out of their welfare woes. And the ultimate goal was a guaranteed annual income. Does that sound familiar, that whole guaranteed annual income? They're still doing it. Still pushing for it. In fact, when we went through the whole COVID-19 power grab, federal government was shutting everybody down, state governments, they were following the exact same playbook of Cloward-Piven. And Cloward and Piven, what they hoped for, that when the state welfare system crashed, that the federal government would then step in and save the day. But how could they swell the welfare rolls? You know what they did? They used FDR's 1935 Aid to Families of Dependent Children and that policy to convince poor people that they could receive government welfare payments, and there was only one catch. They had to prove that the families did not have a father in the home. Now let's switch gears, take it one step further. Because I want to tell you this, the biggest mortal enemy to the black community as I see it, it's abortion. You want to know what kills black people? It's abortion. We've already said 13% of the American population is black. They account for 35% of the abortions that happen in this country. 35%. Black women are 4 times more likely to get an abortion than white women. Democratic policies have made it convenient. It's made it almost necessary in the black community. 85% of Planned Parenthoods are within walking distance of an urban community. Abortion is the most demographically consequential occurrence for the minority population in America. You want to talk about equal opportunity? You don't believe in equal opportunity? It's an easily provable fact that the unborn black babies, they don't have an equal opportunity to even survive until birth. You have black abortion rates that are 25 per 1,000 females compared to white ladies, which are only 6.6. So for every 1,000 live births in the black community, there's 326 abortions. 62% of black lives, 62% of black lives end in abortion. There's 38 times more abortions among blacks than there are black homicide deaths. Oh, and by the way, blacks are no longer the largest minority group in America. That's Hispanics. You want to talk about crowding the welfare system? Well, with what's happening at the southern border and the influx of illegal aliens, do you have any idea the level of decimation that's coming to the black community? Holy crap. It will not be at the hands of white supremacy, my friends. Let me talk about another mortal enemy to the black community, crime. The black population, as we said, once again, makes up 13%, but they commit 60% of the violent crime in America. Fatherlessness. They don't know any better. They commit 33% of aggravated assault. They commit over 52% of the murders, almost 30% of the rapes, 53% of robberies. And here's the kicker. It's not the entire 13% that's doing these things. Instead, it's 25% of the male half of that 13% population. So when you realize that less than 3% of the population of America is responsible for over 50% of the homicides, for instance, you start to realize that there is indeed a cultural problem. It's not white supremacy. Now, if you're still with me and you disagree with me, that's fine. But I want to remind you that you're disagreeing on an emotional basis and not a factual or statistical basis. Now, the fact that we give ourselves over to emotions and feelings when discussing these things only further exacerbates a very large problem instead of bringing solutions into the light. So when Joe Biden addresses a historically black college and says that the greatest threat to America is white supremacy, he is quite literally full of shit and lying to that audience. Do with that information what you will. All right, we've been talking to you for a while about Texas superfoods. Now, this is what happens when you get a naturopathic doctor like Dennis Black, who's not only a Texas veteran, but also an expert in helping people get healthier. This is what happens when he puts his mind to helping make your diet better. Texas Superfoods is vine-ripened, antioxidant rich. They use raw fruits and vegetables, and whether you're using it in capsule or powder form, you're going to get all the benefits of putting the right nutrients from the right fruits and vegetables into your body. Look, I don't eat right most of the time. Neither do you. So let's stop pretending that we do. The beautiful thing is, in this day and age, you can supplement your diet with healthy things like Texas Superfood and go on about your day just a little bit healthier. So I want you to check them out. Texas Superfoods. Head over there today. We'll be right back. So in summary, Joe Biden, the problem with the black community is the black community. The blacks are the black problem. And I listen, I don't care. When you spin it like that, you are causing a racial division, a potential violent division. And people look at me and they say, oh, you can't talk about those things because you're white. No. I love you. I don't care what color your skin is. I care about you, all of you. I don't see you as one way or another. I don't. I care about you. But when we are continually culturally dividing people, I don't even like the term black community. That's your term, by the way. You came up with that. You decided to separate yourself. For almost 100 years, we were doing a lot better in this country. We really were. We got rid of some really bad things, and we were working really hard generationally to make sure that the next generation did better about some stuff. And then you got this asshat that gets up there in front of everybody and says, oh, the bigger thing is white supremacy. Okay. Just stop with the rhetoric. All right. Let me tell you something, guys. I had a great time in Kansas. I saw all of it. George, Chris, Let's Love Brandon, Ace, at the helm over there. Listen, guys, you've heard me tell the story already. They canceled a flight into Denver. I had to fly into Garden City, Kansas. Then I got stranded because they wouldn't rent me a car. And so I had this angel named Stephanie, God bless her, who came and drove me 2 hours up to Sharon Springs at the incredible Erin and her husband Dale. They just have a great little restaurant venue up there, and we had a great show. And then my buddy Austin came, picked me up, drove me all the way across the state. And it's funny, in the midst of all the chaos of this weekend of what we had, I came back more renewed, more invigorated with life. I mean, it was hectic, dude. It was hectic. But I saw the humanity in people and the goodness in people. It was just good. It made me slow down long enough. I had to slow down. I had no car. Couldn't get anywhere, guys. People were so gracious and so generous, and I was just encouraged by it, man. So thanks for a great weekend in Kansas. I can't wait to go back. And I had a great show in Inman, Kansas, just north of Wichita, and a big crowd of people showed up. We had a blast, dude. And and I can't wait. We're going to be in Godley, Texas, Saturday night, and then we've got that little. It's not a private deal, but it's going to feel private. My buddy Stacy McNabb, they've got this property in Cleburne, Texas, and they're selling tickets. Only 70 people can come. I think there's maybe, 15, 20 tickets, something like, 15 tickets left. Go get them. Come hang out with us on Sunday night. That's the 21st. It's going to be cool. And then I'm going to Wesley Chapel, Florida next week. And that one's selling. If you come into Wesley Chapel, start buying the 9:30 show, because we got a 7 o'clock show and a 9:30 show. Come to the 9:30 show, because it's Florida. Everybody's asleep by 4. Everybody retired down there. They had their blue plate special, and they're out. Nobody wants to hang out at 9:30. But get the tickets for the later show and come hang out. Or if you bought tickets for the 7 o'clock, come to the 9:30 show too. Let's do it. Let's double up. Let's double up on it. So Miller Lite, it's not a crazy wild ad that they did. It's woke. Don't get me wrong. Do we have that clip? So Bud Light, and I posted this on my social media, and everybody's like, "That's not the same as what Bud Light did." I get that it's not the same, in that they're not empowering this trans person after another trans person shot up a school and trying to cram this ideology down your throat. I get they're different, but it's still woke. And I don't know how they can't learn from other people's mistakes. Apparently this ad came out like in March, and we missed it, right? It came out like March for Women's Month, and so now it's mid-May, and this thing's starting to catch some attention. I just play the clip.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever.
Okay.
From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America,
Cool.
women were the ones doing the brewing.
True.
Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow.
Heck yeah.
Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer.
That good helps farmers grow quality hops, which is then donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's definitely more out there. In your attic, in the garage, in your parents' basement. Send any you got into Miller Lite, and they'll turn that into good too. Oh. So here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
So basically, let me unpack that commercial for you. First of all, women made the beer. That's a historical fact. They did. That's because women typically were in the kitchen. So let's just go ahead and say what you're saying. You're saying that typically women were in the kitchen. And they did. They wanted to make a nutrient-rich beverage that would fill you up. And they made beer. They carried it out for millennia. And women did indeed, in the kitchen, brew the beer. The funny thing about this is now they are, by saying we're going to glorify the past, they're erasing the past, because this is a very fascist thing. I don't use that word lightly. It's very fascist. It's very Nazi of them that we're going to now collect everything and erase that portion of history. Now you say, well, that's silly because you're just a misogynist that wants to see girls in bikinis. I don't think that makes me a misogynist, but it is a fact. I do like seeing girls in bikinis. Not Lizzo, but I like seeing good-looking girls in bikinis. And those girls, guess what? They were models. That was their job. That was their career. They got paid handsomely for doing it. Their faces were everywhere. That was great PR for their career. And I guarantee you they put it on their resume and weren't ashamed of it at all. But now you're telling them to be ashamed because this man-driven industry, which is beer, should have never existed at all. Well, that's simply not true. So now you're going to collect it, and at the end, you're going to keep saying shit over and over again because apparently these girls' career was shit to you. And then at the end of it, you're going to take shit out of the bag, and you're going to make the woman eat the shit. I don't see how that's empowering for women at all. You literally made your spokesperson eat crap out of the bag. And we're supposed to be proud of you for what? For what? Are we supposed to be ashamed because we're men, because we're masculine, we have testosterone, we're visually stimulated, and we do like pretty women, and somehow an industry that's demographic is highly driven towards the masculine? You used a marketing campaign that said, hey, you know what? You drink a beer like this, and maybe you get a girl like this. Because it makes you look cool, makes you look good, makes you look strong, masculine, and maybe girls like this will be attracted to you. How dare they have such a PR campaign? Well, shit, it worked. This don't, because woke goes broke, and it don't work. Now, you want to talk about shit? Trump said it best. Everything that goes woke turns to shit. So there's your shit. Now, I have to laugh at it. But what you guys don't understand is we're not making a mountain out of a molehill. Well, a little bit we are. Like if you'd have just said, hey, women used to make beer and we want to celebrate women. Because thanks to women, you know, we've been able to perfect beer. We've made better beer. We want to honor women and what they've contributed to the beer industry. Fine, that's great. That's fantastic. But by canceling other women to glorify a certain type of woman, that's very fascist of you. And then you're going to collect everything. What is next? You're going to have a book burning? I mean, they're composting the calendars. You know, they're buying it back. They want to make sure you can't get it. So yes, by the simple definition of the term, it's woke. Now, should we get bent out of shape and go nuts over it? I don't think so, but to each their own. I'm not a huge beer drinker anyway, as I've said over and over again. And I'm not trying to shame anybody, but I'm just saying this is such a dumb strategy. Now, if they released this video back in March, that was before the Dylan Mulvaney nonsense, so they didn't know. But now it's starting to get some traction, and You tried to go to the website, Chris, and it wouldn't pull up, right? Wouldn't pull up. You got one of those error 404 codes?
404 error.
Yeah.
And it does not work.
Well, Molson Coors has it on one of their sites, I can tell you that. One of their competitors. Because when you sent it to me, I was driving and I said, is this satire? And I looked it up, and the only place I could find it was on Molson Coors' website. And they were basically poking fun of their competitor.
Well, Chad, do you think they're doing damage control and trying to wipe it?
Yeah, I kind of think so.
I think so, too.
Yeah,
I think so, too, because, again, the big deal is, and I have a ton of people coming at me on social media saying, I don't understand why this is woke. Well, because, again, stop taking the masculinity out of men and what men like, what men are visually stimulated by. There's nothing inherently evil in being attracted to someone. And no, I get it. I know sex sells. I get it. And that could be taken too far. We don't need to be plastering everything with women in bikinis and all that kind of stuff. I'm not arguing for that. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not telling you we need to create some sexualized culture and then in the next breath fight against it. I'm telling you, the way they're going about it is very nonsensical. So anyway, that's my take on that whole deal. All right, during the prime spring season, you need some wholesome, convenient meals to energize you for warmer, more active days and keep you on track reaching your goals. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. It can help you fuel up fast with ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. Trust me, my mother loves them, and so do I. You're going to save time. You're going to eat well. You're going to tackle everything on your to-do list. And they got more than 34 chef-prepared, dietitian-approved weekly options. There's always something new to try. Plus, you can round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of over 45 add-ons, including breakfast items like that delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, the bacon and cheddar egg bites, the potato, bacon, and egg breakfast skillet, or for an easy wellness boost, try the refreshing beverage options like the cold-pressed juices, the shakes, the smoothies. And if you want to pack in more protein, put a little muscle on, add those filling options like a salmon fillet or chicken wings to your Factor meals to support your dietary goals any time of the day. So head over to factormeals.com/Chad50. Use code Chad50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code Chad50 at factormeals.com/Chad50 to get 50% off your first box. We'll be right back. All right, joining us on the couch, one of my favorite ladies, Sara Gonzales, the host of the News and Why It Matters. You drinking a Miller Lite? Look at you. You like girls on bikinis, don't you?
I do. Love me some girls in bikinis.
I'm going to have a Yingling.
I love to wear a bikini.
You don't wear one?
I said I love to wear no.
Oh, you wear one? You a one-piece or a two-piece girl?
Two-piece.
Yeah? Look at you. I've never seen you in a swimsuit. Let's do a calendar.
Okay, let's do a calendar. A Real Women's Club calendar.
Yeah, there you go. Get them at realwomensclub.com.
Yeah.
I texted our buddy Seth Weathers, who's got his little beer deal. I texted him that Miller Lite ad this morning, and he said, because he's got his Ultra Right.
Yeah.
And it's selling like crazy.
Yeah.
It's about to be in grocery stores.
No.
Yeah, he told me this morning it's getting full distribution. It's going to be in grocery stores. It's going to be crazy where that Ultra Right is. So anyway, I texted him, and he goes, is this real or is this satire? And I said, bro, it's real. And I sent him that link over at Molson Coors, which is their competitor, and Miller Lite's competitor. I think. I could be wrong on that. Somebody will correct me. I know everybody knows everything about corporate America. And he goes, this is proof that God loves me and wants me to succeed. Because
truly,
like I said, bro,
they keep taking themselves out.
I said, Ultra Right, it needs to put girls in bikinis right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
I know. I feel bad drinking this because it's too woke for me. But
see, I got the Yingling. You brought them in here. I would have drank the Miller Lite. I'm not scared of it.
I'm not scared. Well, I heard they're very pro-woman now, apparently.
On Twitter.
Now all of a sudden we know what a woman is.
They're very pro. Exactly. At least they know what a woman is, and they're very pro-woman in the kitchen because women always made the beer. So I had a gay pastor, transvestite, something, I don't know, come at me this morning and said, I've never seen so many alpha masculine males get triggered by, and I'm like, I actually am entertained by the stupidity, but I also get paid to call it out. So, cheers.
Yeah, it's just fascinating. Whenever you have an opinion about something, they always say, "Oh, you're so triggered." Like, no, I just have an opinion about it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, thanks for helping the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
Please comment more.
Yeah, exactly.
Please comment more. Like I'll purposefully put a typo in there so they'll call me stupid. It's like, please blow it up. Please blow it up. I love it. What do we want to talk about? So the border. Let's talk about the border because it's a mess.
What border?
There is not one. There is not one. Kamala, who's my favorite brainiac, she's not only the AI czar. I would not let Kamala Harris program my remote control for my television, much less be in charge of AI. She is artificial intelligence. But she, who is the border czar, she hasn't been there. She's actually, she was in Georgia. She was in Atlanta last night for the Georgia Democratic soiree. She went to the party.
Not very close to the border.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not dealing with illegals coming across in droves. She had this to say about what's going on at the border. Play it.
You know, I hear that everything in the last couple of days is going rather smoothly, given what the concerns were. And the bottom line, however, is that the issue of immigration falls squarely within the responsibility of the United States Congress.
Huh.
What are your thoughts, Sarah?
Well, I think she's high, perhaps, because I don't know where she's getting her reports from that everything is going smoothly. Yeah. I mean, that is unless the entire point is to bring these illegal immigrants into the interiors of the country, in which case, yes, the plan would be running very smoothly. Everything
that's
according
the question.
to plan.
Smoothly for who? Right. For the regime?
Right.
Probably so.
Right.
You know, they're getting the phones, which, again, basically they're saying, well, they're tracking devices because they've got an app. You know, Joe Biden even said, we have an app that's going to take care of everything. Maybe don't let them in the country.
Right.
I mean, just, you know, kind of tossing ideas, Joe. I just don't let them in the country.
You know, it's fascinating, too, because they say, oh, well, they can be tracked. So what? You're going to go hunt them down and remove them from the country? You'll never do that. So what's the point? Right.
I like that camera angle, how it was on me while you were talking, and then it went to you when you finished. But here we are. I was watching me watch you talk.
Oh, were you?
Out of the corner of my eye.
Some might call that vanity.
Well, I mean, it is the Chad Prather show. I mean, somebody said to me on Twitter yesterday when I made a joke about the whole app. You know, they put an app on this phone to track people. They said, well, that's the whole point of the app. No. Because the app doesn't keep them out of the country.
No.
They're using my taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, and that's not the point of the app.
No, it's not.
To my understanding, the point of the app is so that they can make a set of time so that they can not show up to their, time to go show up.
You know, Taylor Hanson took a picture of the paperwork the other day where it literally has a court date set for 2027.
And that wasn't, I saw one that was even 2032. Even further out. They're like, at that point, what is the point of even giving them a date?
It's not.
There's no point.
Well, you know, I love Alejandro Mayorkas.
Do you?
I love him.
Really?
I love him like a boil on my ass. And he looks similar to one.
He does.
Let's play that clip.
How do you respond to him and some other Democrats who say that you've fallen short?
I would respectfully disagree. We have been planning for months and months, over a year and a half. We have surged resources, asylum officers, Border Patrol agents, processing coordinators to do the data entry work so our Border Patrol agents can be out in the field. We've expanded our holding capacity in Border Patrol stations. We've added beds to Immigration and Customs Enforcement in our detention facilities. We've increased our transportation resources, the number of flights, removal flights with our foreign partners. We're setting up regional processing centers now. It's extraordinary what we've done over the past 18 months or so.
It's extraordinary. We have spent the hell out of your money, is what he said.
That is the most incredible clip. The job is to enforce the border that already exists. And he literally just went on there for, how long was that? 30 seconds, explaining that they've done a great job of processing illegal immigrants into the country.
Yeah, they got more beds.
Right, using your taxpayer resources to bring more data entry people to type up all of the new people who they are allowing into the country.
So as I stated just over, a week ago, I stated that by sending 1,500 troops to the border, they were basically sending turnstile operators and administrators. Now, and I talked with one of my oldest, dearest, best friends on Chad Patton. He's a Border Patrol agent over in the Tucson area, Arizona, down south of there. And I talked to him a little bit last night. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare what is going on. I'm a part of Texans for Strong Borders. They're putting out information every day on how we can legislatively push through more things as the state of Texas is concerned. I have an actual solution for all of this I'm going to get into in the next segment, and I want your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Because I think it's a radically good idea. Okay. I think it's a radically good idea of how we're going to combat this. It's probably a pipe dream.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it to you in a minute.
All
right. I love Barrel Buddy. I actually pulled some guns out the other day and was cleaning them. And the Barrel Buddy, boy, it makes the whole process faster. It's not a hassle. It's not a dirty job. You don't have to try to put those little patches through the little hole and push the thing down through there. You don't have to do all that. It's really cool. Barrel Buddy is an incredible solution for cleaning your gun and being a responsible gun owner. They compress to fill the interior of your gun's barrel, and they make sure to clean the rifling grooves. They come in 7 different sizes to match any caliber of your firearm. And Barrel Buddy is composed of polymers that aren't going to leave behind the residual particles, none of those little cloth fibers. So it makes it safer for your gun, and it cleans by scrubbing and collecting the particulates, and then absorbs any remaining residue and buffs the interior surface clean. You can even lubricate your firearm while you're cleaning it. I've had several of you I've seen in the comments where you have purchased them and you like them. So cleaning your gun is really important. It's a big step in being a responsible gun owner, and Barrel Buddy is a totally new concept and better way to take care of your firearm. So I want you to get some today. I guarantee you're going to love them. So go to barrelbuddy.com today. That's Barrel Buddy. Hang on. Here they are. Now hold them up for you. barrelbuddy.com. We'll be right back. All right, Chris sent me a breaking news. Police are responding to a mass shooting, quote unquote, in Farmington, New Mexico.
Oh, gosh.
According to the ATF. Farmington, New Mexico, another blue city. I will just put that out there. We'll see what happens there. I don't know any other details. And we'll see. At the time of this taping, which is 2 o'clock Central Time, we don't know anything. My solution for this influx of illegals coming into the southern border, which, by the way, I posted about these New York City hotels that were kicking out veterans, homeless veterans, kicking them out, putting illegals in. And people were like, that's been debunked. Well, it's not debunked. It was happening. And then other people said, they're not being kicked out. They're putting them in other hotels. Okay, if you check into a Hampton Inn and they knock on your door and say, we need you to go down the street to the Super 8, you just got kicked out.
Right.
You just got kicked the F out.
Right.
I don't care if you got moved. And I don't know that they got moved. That's the rhetoric anyway. That's the explanation. Because, again, the progressives on the other side have got to argue with you no matter what. They can't just look at it and be like, hey, it's a bullshit situation. We agree. And so I tweeted the other day, I said, if you're okay with that, using taxpayer dollars to house and feed and take care of illegals over homeless veterans that served this country, you and I cannot get along. We are diametrically opposed in this country. We're never going to get along. My solution is Canada. Canada is the answer. Western Canada, specifically. Alberta, British Columbia, I think Manitoba. They're very conservative. They don't want to be a part of Canada. They don't want to be a part of Canada. In fact, a lot of those conservative Canadians would love to come to America and buy land. The problem is it's a hard thing to get a green card and be able to stay here, so they can't do it. So if Trump or DeSantis or Vivek or whatever his name is, Ramaswamy, whoever wins the Republican deal, what they need to do, and I just can't see Joe Biden getting reelected. But who knows? The next Republican,
81 million votes.
Yeah, 80, more than any, more black votes than
Barack Obama.
When we elect a Republican president in 2024, they need to either annex Western Canada, or at least that's a hard one because it is a sovereign country, but make it where Canadians can get a green card and come down here, buy land, and give them easy access to citizenship.
But only ones who didn't vote for Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, and let them come down here. So let's create the same thing the Democrats have. Rather than a southern invasion, let's create a northern invasion of conservative Republican voters who are sick to death of these goofy-ass socialist Marxist policies, and we counter the whole deal.
I like it.
Let's just bring in our own voters.
I like it.
You just bring them from Western Canada.
Right.
And then, Trudeau's a pussy anyway. What's he going to do if we want to take it? I mean, one of the things I said when I was running for governor is I said we should own the first 100 miles of Mexico anyway. And people got pissed at me for saying that. I was like, like you go south of the border 100 miles, we ought to just go ahead and own that anyway. That ought to be ours. I mean, why not?
Just take it.
If we're going to be dictators anyway. Right. See, the problem is we're under tyranny, but the tyranny doesn't extend outside of our borders. We're pussies in the rest of the world. They're just dominating us. Like, I never in a million years would have thought that the biggest enemy to the American people would be the president of the United States. What do you think?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the thing is like you are going to have to be very diligent on your immigration process illegally, because if they're Canadian and conservative, they ain't breaking the law. They're doing it the right way.
Very nice.
Yeah, they are very polite citizens.
Well, I mean, I kind of made a decision. I love going to Alberta.
Yeah.
I love going up there. Love Calgary, love Banff, love Lake Louise, love going up in there. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But I don't want to go up there anymore because of Trudeau's deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vaccine stuff and all this nonsense. It's crazy. Crazy. I mean, I don't care anything about Montreal or Toronto or anything in Eastern Canada, but give me some of that Western Canada. Give me some Wexit, baby.
I like that. And then I think in addition to that, I think if we could just, I don't know if you heard, but I believe it was the mayor of Philadelphia was like the only leftist mayor that I've heard that is continuing to say, yes, we want all of the illegal immigrants. So I think in addition to your plan, let's just funnel all of the illegal immigrants directly to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And see how long that lasts.
Yeah. I will tell you this, America's about to look like a Mexican flea market that happens on Saturday at the drive-in theaters. It's about to look like that. Look, I don't give a shit if people are mad at me for saying that or not. It's
true.
A fact.
It's true. It's true. And I think that it's difficult to explain to people, especially people who don't live in border states, how far-reaching the ramifications of this go for how long. I mean, we're talking decades.
Yeah.
Decades of long-term devastating consequences that we have not even seen yet.
Nope. Let's say you got 1,000 fighting age males that come across the border, and let's say out of that, 50 of them are murderers and rapists, whatever. What are you letting into your country? I mean, how many cancer cells are okay in your body?
Right.
I mean, are you okay with one cancer cell? Because it tends to spread if you don't deal with it. So let's say one murderer, one rapist. Ladies, keep your head on a swivel. You already need to anyway. But my God, don't be sitting in parking lots texting. Don't be sitting around. Don't pick $20 bills up off the ground. If there's a napkin stuck in your door handle, don't touch it. I mean, the fentanyl is crazy, this stuff, I'll check your cocaine and see if it's good. But what? I've built up a tolerance.
He's just joking.
That'll be a new thing with Chad's pads is we come and test it for you.
Yeah,
we're not going to do strips.
We'll
just
test it for you.
Do a small line of it.
Brandon's got solutions. I love how you say he's just joking. Got to add the disclaimer. There's an asterisk at the bottom of the description of the show on YouTube. Yeah. Am I? It's party time, Mom. I like it. Yeah. I'm not kidding, as Joe would say. Not joking.
Not a joke.
Not a joke. Anyway, I just think that you better be careful. You better be armed. Stay strapped and take it with you everywhere you go. Everywhere you go.
Yeah, you said ladies don't text in parking lots. I'm like, someone comes up on me while I'm in my car in the parking lot. They're getting their head blown off.
Yeah, empty the magazine. Yeah. You know, Joe came out the other day and said, you don't need 100-round magazines. You don't need 100-round magazines in a weapon. The shit I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen them dudes on them videos get shot and keep coming. Mm-hmm. And them cops laid out 11 bullets. Mm-hmm. And that guy's still coming at you. Well, for one reason, you miss. In a moment of real crisis and adrenaline takes over, you miss. Yep. See, that's the thing about automatic weapons, this whole argument about automatic weapons, which are so stupid. Nobody's got a machine gun. No. Very few people do.
I wish I did.
Which
I think it's bullshit that I can't own one.
Well, I agree with you 100%, but for those of you who've ever shot a machine gun, you know, unless you really train and practice with that, it's less accurate.
Yes.
Because that thing, it takes over.
Well, in fact, anytime you usually go and shoot, if you're shooting one at a gun range, they'll have the instructor come and put their hand
behind you.
Yeah, behind you, because they know you're gonna.
It's gonna ride high. The same with bump stocks. I can't hit shit with a bump stock back in the day. You know, when you had those things and you shoot with them out at the range or whatever, you can't hit anything.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm just saying, ladies, especially you ladies. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch where you are. Don't be alone. Don't be vulnerable. Don't put yourself in those situations. It's coming. It's here. Mm-hmm. It's happening. People who commit violence are coming across our border. Mm-hmm. And we already have it here. We know that. We got enough Americans to deal with.
Right.
So, anyway. All right. I live with pain from time to time. I was actually on the phone with my doctor a little while ago. We were talking about my gout, which has not flared up in, honestly, I don't remember when. It's been fantastic to be pain-free. But if you have the things like, inflammation in your joints, some arthritis stuff going on, you don't just have to live with it and sustain it and deal with it and just move through it. Sometimes it really debilitates your life. So I've got a solution for you if you will listen to me. Don't let your joy be stolen by pain. I want you to get some freedom with Relief Factor. Now, it's a great way to reduce pain, which is mostly caused by inflammation in your joints. And when you take it as directed, it could absolutely change your life. It's not a drug, but it comes in a bag, looks just like this. It's something that's developed by doctors that reduces inflammation in your body. And 70% of the people who take it keep on ordering it because it works. So if you're living with pain, try that three-week quick start. It's only $19.95. It's a trial pack. And go to relieffactor.com or call them 800-4-RELIEF. We'll be right back. Conservatives are the biggest snowflakes. I just read it on Twitter because I shared that Bud Light or Miller Lite ad, so whatever. Again, the whole issue is we're actually defending women here.
Right.
And saying, but you don't have to make this whole thing. We're also defending men. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You don't have to go erasing history with this stuff anyway. Sara Gonzales is on every afternoon on Blaze and on YouTube, The News and Why It Matters, with her assortment of insightful guests and her very, very insightful monologues to begin every show. Good job on all of that.
Thank you.
And you had a hell of a hit with Megyn Kelly last Friday.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Appreciate that.
Proud of you. My baby's growing up. Come see me out on the road, ChadPratherLive.com. Visit our site, RealWomen'sClub.com. And also subscribe to The Blaze, BlazeTV.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. Sarah, thank you. And we love you. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.